Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the LJL Officially Unofficial as we are continuing our coverage of Day 10 of the LJL Spring 2022 splits. We've got DFM Burning Court coming up. But before that, if I was Estelle, I'd be very happy now because I am ready to introduce two North American boys. We've got Echo KO on the play-by-play and RMC joining us for the color cast. How are we doing, gents?
I'm hyped, bro. Honestly, I mean, what a way to start off the day, right? Burning Core going against a DFM. Like, I'm still trying to wake up, and this is definitely gonna give me a kick.
Yeah, I'm doing good as well here, Middlecott. I'm very excited and also very scared because first game, Burning Core versus Detonation FocusMe, two pretty strong teams so far, and Burning Core has been an exciting team to watch, both in their wins and their losses. But the second game of the day has me worried, Middlecott, because you were with me the last time we did this.
Yeah.
And even though you're on the desk, we seem to be slightly cursed when we're together. So we've got a Hawks versus V3 for game 4. And
we'll leave that. Yeah. We'll leave that for when we get to it, because I think that the less time we spend on that matchup before we need to, the better. But like you were saying, RMC and Echo KO, Burning Core versus DFM, banging matchup as far as I'm concerned. People potentially speaking about Burning Core being one of the teams that could upset DFM and hand them their first L of the split. But coming off that rough loss to CJ last time out, Echo KO, it's going to be an uphill battle if it wasn't already one.
Listen, some of us don't talk about Bruno. I don't talk about that game because it makes me want to cry. I can't even speak. That's how just emotionally shaken I am from that. I just don't think about it. Is that a good way to go about your problems in life? Probably not. Do I care? No, not really. So I still have faith in my boys.
Yeah, it was a rough time out, losing that game very, very quickly. But RMC, DFM have been a bit of a slow paced team. They are starting to speed up. So do you think that Burning Core could possibly attack them in the early game here?
Yeah, in fact, if I think Burning Core want a chance to win, it has to be the early game for them here. I mean, Sengoku's probably the second best standard team right now. They didn't win. Roscoe Jester's probably the best late game team, didn't win. So the only sort of potential weakness is that early game. But Middlecott, as you mentioned, Detonation FocusMe has been showing up their early game, and they're actually now the second fastest team, or the fastest winning team in the league on average. So it's a bit of a challenge here for Burning Core, and I'm hoping that they can live up to that challenge.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the fastest game time in the league because that's V3, and they're all losses, so that's not ideal. But okay, I kind of want to come back to you with this one. Is there a particular player that you can see for Burning Core, but potentially being someone that can attack this matchup here?
Ooh, I mean, definitely Flawless, I feel like, because especially if they're able to give him that Diana pick, which we've seen him just pop off with so much. I would really like to see what he can kind of do with that, because I'm gonna keep it real, because we got to see the same matchup right on day 7 as well. Ray Farkey did not have a fun time. If they let Evie get his hands on that Tryndamere, man, you're done. You might as well just go home. And we saw it happen. I think Evie went 6-0 with that. So I'm really hoping that we just see some crazy performance coming out from maybe Flawless or even Yuhi in the bot lane. You never even know.
Put against teams attacking DFM, right? Because you can talk about Flawless being a jungler that can get a lot going in the early game, but then you look bot lane and it's Yutapon Harp who are probably going to have the advantage there. You look mid lane, Yaharong has looked very, very good. Dice probably one of the few players that can stand up to him, but then that top lane.
Yeah, and as Echo KO mentioned, that was the Tryndamere game for Ebby, and they just right off banned the Darius away from Ray Farkey. They know their win con here, and they can do it again, right? They can just ban away the Darius once again, look for that Tryndamere. And for Burning Core, yes, I want to see some volatility come through for them, because when you're the underdog, you need a volatile matchup. But I'm hoping also that they don't overdo it and we don't see, insanity like Flawless playing supports and Ray Farkey in the jungle again. Not quite that crazy. There's a line to toe here, and the line between genius and insanity is particularly thin when it comes to Burning Core.
Yeah, It's giving me sort of Axis kind of vibes. Like, if you want to get your win, you need to throw something crazy into the mix. But a Draven top lane going 1-8, possibly not not going to be the play there. Bring it back down to that bot lane though. Yuhi and Fujimoto, I think they have stepped up. I think that's fair to say to them. But this is probably the biggest test that they're going to face, and their stability on weak side, I think, is going to be heavily questioned here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and I think Yuhi and Fujimoto might want to look into being more of that utility role. We've seen Yuhi play that Jhin, and the Jhin looked pretty good the last time here. So against Utapon here, I don't think the bot lane is necessarily where Burning Core want to focus their attentions, put them on something utility based that can back up the top side of the map.
Well, we'll have to see if that's going to be the play, because we are getting ready for our pick and ban. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you so much, Middlecott. Oh, Lord. Things are already not looking too good here for Burning Core. The Diana is off the board already, and so is the Tryndamere. I don't know, RMC. What do you think about that, man?
I mean, I think it's a solid pick from DFM here. They're recognizing that, hey, we aren't blue side. We can't just first pick that Tryndamere. We don't want Ray Parky to get it here. And very balanced bans for the most part here. Two sort of more target bans, and then Zeri being generic ban. But Burning Core's bans interest me a lot more, because we're seeing top lane focus with the Gwen and the Aatrox right away. The rise against Yaharong as well. I don't know if that's something that is that high priority to ban. I think Yaharong's had great performances on pretty much any mid lane that they've touched so far.
Yeah, but hey, who knows? Maybe tonight's a dice angle. We're gonna have to see. But we do see the Jinx coming out already, so that's gonna be their ADC locked in first pick here. And no surprise, DFM right responding most likely with the Aphelios. Any real surprises there?
Oh, and I'm going to say this now. I actually don't like the way that teams are trading sort of the AD carry for AD carry here. If you see the Jinx there, DFM don't need to pick up Aphelios here. You can pick up, other picks if you wanted. Instead, higher priority picks. Like you could pick up, Thresh J4 if you want to look for that punish onto that. Instead, they go for the Hecarim instead, which, hey, it still looks good. And more importantly, it's steal on something not named Poppy.
That's like the one thing we want to see. And also, he is technically stealing that Hecarim away from Flawless as well, who we've seen on quite a bit. He likes being that kind of facilitator, that playmaker. But I do like the Leona pick coming out, right? It's a bit more of a kind of engagey support. We're like combined with Ray Farkey. Like we were saying before, right? I don't think bot lane is necessarily kind of where they want to be putting most of their focus. So you kind of pick like a bit of a safer support, kind of like Leona, who can really keep not Ray Farkey, who can keep the Jinx, or Yuhi in this case, kind of out of the line of fire.
Hold up one second, Echo. That's a Scion for potentially Ray Parky here. This is only the second tank he's played all season long, the last one being Shen. And this, I said I wanted volatility. I said I wanted something new and different. I'm not sure this is what I was calling for here. I mean,
run it back. Too much.
Go back. I mean, we talked about Ray Parky as a carry. Scion is going to struggle to carry, not saying you can't do it, but into Ebby of all people, I feel like picking the Scion this early is just giving free license to Ebby to just pick a skill and carry.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, they have all the time in the world now to decide who they want to kind of set up in that top lane to face him down. As I mean, so far we've seen, right, only support, ADC, and jungle has actually been picked. Last bands coming out right now. The Karth is actually, I didn't see that one coming. Maybe I'm small brain in that one, but I did not see that one coming.
I mean, it's a bit of a Flawless special here. Flawless playing 2 games Diana, 2 games Karthus, 2 games Hecarim. All 3 of those are now off the board here. And while Flawless hasn't looked bad on more standard early game junglers like the Lee Sin, like the Volibear here, I don't think it's the wheelhouse of Burning Core necessarily. That said, we did say, hey, you've got to index early and you pick the Jinx, you pick the Scion. Neither of those are exactly early game champions. Maybe an early game jungler is exactly what Burning Core needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like you said right when we were on the depths, that this is probably the one point of the game, that early game, where they're actually going to be able to kind of, get a lead and steal it and then get the win itself. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think Flawless might just be shaking his boots there a little bit. He's got to whip something else out, something new, something fresh. I gotta say the Darius ban, just to be safe, is a little surprising to me. I feel like they
can't believe it either.
At this point. Yeah, it's like I don't really know where that came from. Just kind of rubbing it in his face. But we do see the Gnar coming out in response, was looking for this top lane. How do you feel about that matchup?
Okay, it's not a bad one. I think, especially in the early game, Nar has control of that. I mean, Sion can engage onto you,
Mm.
especially with the Hullbreaker still. We're on patch 12.4, being strong right now. I think the Nar is perfectly fine. I expect we just see Hullbreaker top lanes handshake for the most part here. Trundle though being picked up for Flawless, that's a new one in terms of junglers that he's played in 2022. And we don't see like a true tank come out from the side of DFM just yet. So I'm curious to see how effective the Subjugate will be defensively. Offensively, it's still going to be really, really good. You shred their resistances, and then Dice gets to just pop them with that LeBlanc Yarong. Okay, hard counter in the mid lane here. You picked that Lissandra strictly to deal with LeBlanc here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something you definitely have to do, right? Because we've seen just dice on the LeBlanc it's you don't want to mess with that. I think they still do a lot of damage, and they're gonna have to be careful about that one. The Lissandra, I feel a little bit bad already though for Dice just having to deal with the Lissandra in the mid lane though. But he's looking at the comps and stuff. How are you feeling about this one?
Okay, I think in terms of DFM's composition here, it's pretty much what we'd expect from them. They've got a strong scaling carry in at least one role, in this case, Utapon and Steel having the sort of scaling there. Yaharong and Ebby just sort of getting the counter matchups that they are comfortable with, and just strong team fighting in general. It's pretty much what we've come to expect here from DFM. Burning Core, though, their composition is kind of standard, and it actually does surprise me a little bit because I did not want to see too much standard from Burning Core. I wanted to see topside focus. Instead, it feels like they're indexing heavily into their bot side of the map. Dice on a carry is fine, but Yuhi on a carry with Ray Farki on a tank, Yuhi's got a lot of expectations to shoulder now in this particular match.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we were saying, how we wanted that volatility coming out, and Sion maybe not the pick, definitely that we were seeing coming. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's exactly what it's designed to do, right? We're all doubting. Doubt is in the chat, right? And then they just hit us with the boom, got him, right? So we're gonna definitely have to see. But Flawless actually on the Trundle. I haven't had the chance really to see Flawless playing that. How do you think he's gonna perform on that one?
I have no clue either.
Okay, I'm not alone there. Okay.
Yeah, same as you. I haven't seen Flawless on the Trundle either. Now, I do think that he's had really good games with fairly immobile champions, especially in the early game, especially on the likes of the Karthus there. So I'm not too worried about his positioning. I'm just more curious how he's intending to play this out. Are we going to see that Trundle look for early invades, look for duels against the Hecarim? Because Hecarim is a scaling jungler, likes to hit that level 6 before he really starts to get involved on the map. And Trundle can start looking for early invades to push them out, especially, with that LeBlanc in the mid lane as well. You've got a lot of wave clear. You've got a lot of prio here as well. You can start looking for those early 2v2s.
Yeah, definitely. And the Sion whipping out the, why does it say the spell book? What? I'm so confused by that.
It's what you pick into a losing lane for Sion. If you, especially into range carries, you can't prop the Grasp of the Undying with any sort of consistency. So Spellbook instead gives you the ability that, hey, at least I've got the one extra summoner. Worst comes to worst, I can look for those fights. I can trade a little bit better. And yeah, it's just sort of the safe pick with Inspiration Tree as well, just to sort of scale up. You're not looking to try and necessarily win the lane.
All right. Well, we'll definitely have to see how that ends up panning out. Actually, Ray Farki grabbing that blue right off the start, and look at, oh my, okay, Flawless chilling in the red jungle. Actually, dude, he does not care, bro. He's just already looking to start things off, stealing. Right?
Yep. This is Silent Attack. So I know it's really confusing. Okay,
yeah, but please, bro.
So this is Silent Tech. This is what you do at level 1 because of your passive. You do get to farm this up here, and it's one way to avoid the lane. Ray Farki will come back with blue buff as well because you died to a minion camp. And on top of that, this is effectively Burning Core's cheese here that I was hoping we'd see. And what you're doing is you're 3-buffing Steel here. You're setting Steel behind because now Steel's going to come to bot side and you've got nothing left in your jungle. You can't even go for that cross map invade either because it's got to be a diagonal invade. And if you look at the map right now, Yuhi and Fujimoto with the Jinx Leona, one of the best parts about that particular duel is that you get lane prio, you get first shove here. And so you have a numbers advantage should Steel come looking to try and pick up camps on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Steel realizing that probably his side of the map will not be there anymore. So instead, looking to move into Flawless' jungle, will be able to grab some wolves, kind of keep himself like somewhat on par. But already, I mean, it's definitely a lot more volatility than I was expecting to see. So I'm already being caught off guard a little bit there. Gonna have to see how that does end up playing out. But right now, it's really just chill time, honestly. Really, a little bit of trading going around here and there, waiting for that first kind of ability to strike and get something done here. Hextech Drag also first going to be on the board. So unfortunately, no Hextech Soul. Big sad, but it is what it is.
You know what? I'm okay with no Hextech Soul because then it gives us a chance for Infernal Soul, which is always fun and chaotic. You know, more kill pressure coming through for the various members' bot side. Though Fujimoto and Yuhi taking a bit
speaking of kill pressure, though, actually the Zenith Blade on the return onto Harp there does crack the Aftershock, but not quite the trade that they wanted. Gonna have to fall back on that one.
I actually wonder if Fujimoto was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get hit by the hook anyways, right? Might as well go in on this." And then, like, when the hook didn't land, I was like, abort!" Get
out of here! let me go home, please.
They're still looking for this here, and they know that Flawless is in the area.
Oh Lord, they're done here, bro. Fujimoto is so incredibly low. The pillars they can drop, but it won't be enough. First blood comes out, and it's gonna go into the hands of the one and only Steel, stealing it from him. Dare I say? I was not the move, but Flawless was coming around that corner right, but Steel with a very good read and just returns from the back line there, just swoops in, grabs that kill, and gets out.
Yeah, and that just comes from an information inequality there, Echo. They had vision, the ward saw Flawless.
Damn, okay, information. Okay, I might have to steal that one and use that at some point.
Well, so what happens is they knew Flawless was in the area. So when DFM looked for the engage there, Steel was in their back pocket, but Burning Core wasn't aware of that. What on earth is that interaction?
Oh, Lord, Utapon is getting incredibly and increasingly lower and lower. He's in the back line. He's stuck and he's going to go down. They should be able to still get Flawless. They will get that. Harp will pick it up. Now it's just support versus support.
Okay, I did not realize that Pillar could do that to a Dark Passage. Utapon got knocked out of the Dark Passage partway through. Really good play from Flawless mechanically, but the decision to find that minion wave, man, that is not okay. Like, we are only 5 minutes in. Minions do a lot of damage. This is about the only part of the game where my peoples are highly relevant before Hullbreaker comes in. So you don't want to be fighting in that wave like that. And for Burning Core, I respect that they're trying to pull all this cheese. They got the Ray Farkey level 1 jungle, they got the 3 buff, but all of that's been nullified now, right? Flawless has died and Steel hasn't, not to mention Steel got that first blood as well. So Detonation FocusMe, they're right back on track. And for Burning Core, you're not behind, but your cheese kind of didn't work. And at this point, I'm getting a little bit worried because, like I said, I don't think you'll win playing standard against DFM.
Yeah, definitely right. It's like it was a good idea kind of on paper. In practice right now, not looking too good, but you never know. Only time really will tell. And that's also kind of the problem though, right? Because like the longer this game goes, the longer you start to kind of play as a more like standard comp. A little bit of trading coming out from Dice here, hitting him with the distortion, a little bit of damage coming out. Tether not quite going to connect there. Overall, not too much going down though. Drag is still on the map. It's just been chilling. No one's really contesting it. They're trying to let him live, trying to give him that extra time in the sun. Just let him live his life.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Detonation FocusMe actually went from the team with best dragon control, 91%, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and now they're only sitting at around 67% here. So Detonation FocusMe, once again, have control of the dragon pit. They have the numbers advantage, but they're not focused on it. They're looking for the kills first instead. So Steel sitting in this bot lane instead, trying to bait Fujimoto into this. And if they get the kill here, they will convert to dragon, but it's not the priority right
Dark Pass is going out, though. Steel is there, going to force the flash out from Yuhi, and not quite gonna get just gonna trade some sums, right? That's also big too. Not too much coming out of that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, good attempt, and I appreciate that they didn't wait any longer there.
Yeah,
you don't want to be wasting time just sitting and not farming. You are on that Hecarim, and Steel's still not level 6 yet, so right back to the jungle. The interesting thing to watch will be what happens when Steel hits 6, because at that point, I don't know if Steel's just going to run back to that bot lane once again and force the gank. And if Yuhi, if Fujimoto take any more poke, if they get hooked and eat, more shots from Utapon here, I think Steel is more than happy to look for dives.
Yeah, I'm about to hit that level 6. I'm assuming he'll get it once he gets this drop. Rest in peace, the big boy. Yeah, he's gonna have that 6. So now he's definitely, that Onslaught of Shadows is gonna make him a lot more of a threat on the Rift here. Still no one even like looking towards that dragon. I'm quite surprised by that. Even Steel's like, nah, I don't want it right now. I gotta keep farming, gotta make sure he kind of stays ahead. And it's kind of sad to see, right? Because Flawless, they had this whole big brain plan, right? Flawless goes into the blue, not the blue side, into a Steel side. And maybe he's looking to take a lot more than just his camps here. He might just run right into him here. Steel gonna go ahead and back off, calling for some backup. Dare I say, and we already see Yarong on the move. Not sure they're gonna quite be able to catch him though. Nah, they won't be able to. But like I was saying, Flawless, like they had this whole move, this whole plan they were going to do to kind of set Steel behind. At the end of the day, we just saw that Steel did hit level 6 first, right? So it's like everything's kind of been nullified at this point.
Yeah, and it just feels like that's what Detonation FocusMe are just really good at, nullifying everything you want to do. Before that, the early game was kind of quiet, but yeah. Dice actually going to eat a bit of
Dice is not going to go out quietly, though. He's incredibly low to use the sword. No, dude, the big brain hits him with the 1-2, but Flawless might be paying for his mistakes. Did need to flash. We'll be able to get out of there alive. Steel actually incredibly low, though, as well. That's always a good sight to see. The Super Mega Death Rocket is flying. Is it going to connect? I don't think it will. Just a little off.
Yeah, Vision gave that away, but Flawless isn't done yet and still looking here.
He's still looking, and he's finding the pillar connects, and he will get Steel. He gets the red buff as well as a little prize. He's like, thank you, I'll be taking that. Hit him with the 1-2 and took him out.
Yeah, and they can go for Herald if they want as well, because it's only Ebby left here. Yaharong had to burn the flash earlier, doesn't have a lot of mana. Really well played from Burning Core, and this is something that Flawless has been looking for the entire early game. We said it earlier, Echo, that that Trundle wins the 1v1, right? You want to go for invades, you want to fight Steel, and that doesn't change for pretty much this entire game. Trundle is a duelist, Hecarim not so much. Detonation FocusMe, though, they've brought buddies this time.
Yeah, it's not going to be that much of a duel, more of a little bit of a scuffle here in the 3-on-2. They're going to see who can secure this Rift Hill. It's getting low. It's going to be a smite fight. Flawless, I think Flawless did get it. Will go down. He did. So it was secure. Bag has been secured, ladies and gentlemen. It's all worth it. And Refargy will go ahead and get out of there alive. They get the Rift. They get the Rift. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, they might be able to get. I don't know if you want this fight.
I don't know if that was the move. That might have been a bit of miscommunication, not information. But it is a misinformation. Rocket! The fact that Fujimoto is going to go down. He is taken out by Udapon. The Rocket as well, like you're saying, so close, yet so far won't quite connect.
Oh, man, I really thought that was going to hit for a second.
That'd have been sick.
The stopwatch came in so clutch right there for Harp. If not, that could have been a 2v4 where Burning Core actually trade 1-for-1 there, but as it stands, Yuhi still got to power farm.
Yuhi in a terrible spot. He can't be power farming when he's dead, and he's gone into the grave. Steel with a very nice read coming around the corner. Yuhi overstayed his welcome, paid the price. He has been evicted from the premises, and now Yaharong is about to get the same treatment if he can't get out of there. Nah, Dice, not enough mana, has to fall back.
Okay, and surely now, Echo KO, surely now we see Dragon being taken, right? I mean, after all, you got to kill bot. Maybe? No, Steel's actually walking away from this. Okay, interesting so far. Detonation FocusMe has definitely changed up my opinion of the early game. They were an early game team in the last week, and I guess they've kind of moved a little bit away from that, but they're not in a rush. And I guess, they're respecting Flawless at this point. The fact that Flawless can 1v1 Steel, and if Steel starts up the Dragon here, he is at risk of getting burnt down even without the AD carry. But for Burning Core, you are stronger here, and they're still not starting this. They're still not comfortable, and they're looking for picks of their own instead. But bot side is so heavily warded here. I don't see how Flawless gets in without getting spotted.
Yeah, just like that, he does get spotted. The hook doesn't land on Yuki. He will drop the cage, but it's not going to quite be enough. It's going to be a bit of a scuffle moving in here. Very nice play, actually, pushing him back. First, Yuhi goes down. Fujimoto is very close to follow. No, he will not get out of that one alive. And now Flawless is in the masses. Needs to be very careful here. If he gets hit by one more Yuta punch shot, he should be down. There he goes. That's yet another kill. That's 3 members off the board. And just like that, Burning Core, if you were stronger before, you are not stronger now.
Yeah, everything was going right for Burning Core, and then this happened again in the bot lane.
And still not doing the drag, bro. What contract did these guys sign with the Dragon, bro? Someone needs to review this, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they got sanctioned or something. DFM 91% Dragon control, and now you just refuse to take it. And okay, this is the setup once again, and it looks really familiar because once again, information inequality here. Burning Core think they've got the 3v2. but they don't. Sure, Flawless wins the 1v1, but you can see that's not true once you get more and more numbers, not to mention Udapon's Infernum in that fight hits everybody so perfectly there, absolutely just instantly pops them, and just the AoE damage that DFM have in this bot side. Burning Core cannot afford to play around that without knowing where Steel is, and I'd almost like to see Flawless at this point look to maybe help out gank a top lane for once, right? Like Ray Farkey's been alone on an island.
Oh lord, the glacial tomb to get popped on Dice incredibly low. It's gonna use the distortion over the wall. Yo, did he just hit him with the big brain? He's gonna get out too. He waited so patiently to take that back. I don't even think he knows that the ward was in there, but he still baited him just with that alone. We'll get out of that one alive. Close call, to say the least. And now the ult will be down from Yaharong. Speaking of going down, so is the Rift Herald into this bot. Tower here is going to crash in, do a little bit of damage, and that's about all we're unfortunately going to see from it.
Yeah, kind of running out of time on that Herald, but at least it does crash. You get some plates as well here. And Ray Farkey has the unstoppable onslaught. Actually walking to this bot side here. Has to be careful. Ebby has Hullbreaker and topside turret already almost dead.
Yeah, it's going to go down here, actually. Nothing to respond, no minions to defend, and it should go down here if you're going to pick up that nice, juicy turret money, dude. 13 minutes in, no one there to defend it. And he's just like, dude, I'm going to do it again if you don't stop me.
Yeah, Ray Farkey, we saw him walking to that bot lane, and keep in mind, again, unstoppable onslaught, or the Scion Pain Train, as is otherwise known. You can run into a lane. He walked into that lane, showed up, said hi, had to recall immediately and walked off. He just wasted time, lost 2 waves there and couldn't find anything for it. DetonatioN FocusMe, they're more than happy with that particular trade, and now maybe they'll set up for Dragon. They're in the area. Yaharong has rotated down.
Yeah, Ray Farkey, a little bit of a blue buff. We've seen a bit of a perhaps confrontation is going to go down here in the river as we are 14 minutes in. The first drag still hasn't been picked up. DFM's like, dude, we don't even need this thing, bro. Like, dude, just let him. We'll let him chill, bro. We do not need it. They're just not going to do anything with it. One of these days, maybe we'll see something go down here. Flawless looking into that mid lane, can't quite get anything though. The wave state's not quite there. Yo, we finally see the dragon taking some damage and still just backed off, dude.
Echo, they're just teasing us. They're just teasing us.
They're just actually teasing. Finally, they're looking to actually take it out here. Flawless and Fujimoto know something's up, so they're going to be chilling in that bush. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, right, Dice trying to get some kind of prio off, but it's not quite going to work. Yaharong doing a bit too much damage. Ray Farkey's there. Maybe we see the pain train being sent into the river. It's going to be a bit of a smite fight once again.
Here we
can
go.
Flawless do it again? I'm not sure he can. He will not. Steel's going to go ahead and grab that dragon. Solo Flare coming out, but it is going to go wide. The cage gets dropped. Harp in a terrible position. Should be able to get out of that, though. Close call, but nothing quite going to come out of it.
Wow, Steel.
Yo, Utapod, come on, bro. No way. Dude, he's straight up sending it to Ray Farkey. He's like, dude, you are not a tank in my eye, bro. And look at that, Evie. He pushed down the second, he pushed down the tier 2, moved over to the tier 3, and's got it to half health already.
So DFM just walked away with absolutely everything there. The fact that Steel actually did manage to steal that away. Ray Farkey a little bit late on that unstoppable onslaught there, and the dark passage to get out, that was the perfect heist. And the entire time that was happening, because Ray Farkey did look for the unstoppable onslaught on that dragon and didn't get it, even worse, Ebby just got free push topside. This Hullbreaker Gnar is an absolute issue. And for Burning Core, you're starting to run out of options a little bit here, right? Like every time you leave that top lane, you're getting punished. You're trying to make the plays. I appreciate that, but they're not working out. And DFM are just fielding this so well. At this point, Burning Core are starting to enter desperation mode. Dice hasn't been able to make any significant plays. Ray Farkey hasn't been able to make any significant plays. I get the feeling that Burning Core in the next 5 minutes are going to look for some sort of crazy play that's either going to win the game or absolutely lose the game for them.
Yeah, absolutely right. They've been a little bit slow on kind of like adapting as to what's going down here, right? You notice that what you're trying really isn't working. The scariest thing, right? It's 2-8, and we haven't really even seen like a fully fledged team fight. It's really only just been scuffles here and there, right? 3 and 4 mans, that kind of stuff. So we have yet to see even how the full team fight is going to play out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is on DetonatioN FocusMe. It's not like Burning Core isn't looking for those fights. It's more DetonatioN FocusMe.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want any of this, Abby.
Yeah, Evie, bit of a bad spot. You're getting hit with all the CC in the world right now, but he is too damn tanky. Gonna shove him to the wall. Gonna go ahead and just jump over the wall like it's nothing, and he's out of there. But they do not care. They are gonna follow him to the ends of the earth. They want this kill. Ray Farkey is pissed. Should he get it? I'm not sure if he can.
No
Evie is another one more tick.
Okay.
He will go down. Oh my god, they sent everything they have, but now look in the mid lane, they're pushing it down. Top lane, Yahorong's moving in with a pretty big minion wave. So I don't know if it was worth it. And Steel's grabbing himself that
Yeah.
hill.
Yeah, exactly as you said there. It feels like Burning Core playing on the wrong side of the map. And okay, that wasn't necessarily the desperate play I was thinking of, but it looks pretty desperate to me. You sent 3 people after a Hullbreaker and Meganar. And sure, you got the kill, but it took everything. And now Fujimoto might get dove here. They're just waiting for Steel.
Yeah. Steel is
Oh,
there.
okay,
They're
Ray
gonna have to
Farkey's
see-
there.
Yeah, Ray Farkey's yeah. They're like, oh, but they're actually going to shift targets. They see that Yuhi is
Yeah.
alone in the spot lane.
Oh,
Gonna use the path to
Yuhi.
get over. Yahorong should hit him with that Glacial Tomb. Will hit him, but the cleanse that come out. But it does not matter because Steel is like, hey, what's going on? You're done here. Just take them out.
Yeah, and I just got to highlight Ray Farkey, only 1 death. And you look over to Yuhi, you look over to Dice, these big carries. Yuhi 0 and 3 right now. Not what you want to see on your Jinx. Oh, I like this though.
Oh.
Ebby is Mininar, has no rage bar. They're looking for the punish.
Indeed, that turret should go down any second now, but it doesn't even matter because Heavy, dude, he's just sending. He wants that kill on Dice, isn't quite gonna get it. Might pay the price, is gonna hop over Flawless. Does have that full rage mode. Should pop it any second now. Gonna go ahead and get that third passive proc. Now he pops it. Can he get Flawless to flash to dodge? I'm not sure if he can quite get it though. He will not. Flawless gonna be able to dip out of there. Dice though.
No,
Oh
Dice.
no, he's got a TP. You gotta get out of there.
TP?
Dice, quickly run. No.
Oh, he almost.
He is gonna go down so close and so far. And Flawless too. They're gonna lose it all. They set up the play. Steel with, oh my god, the onslaught of shadows. He's trying his best to get this kill. Not enough though. Too much heal. They turn this thing around and they
Okay.
actually take out Steel. He's not stealing that kill to say the least. But Yahorong is here to try and avenge his boy, and he doesn't need so much damage coming out. And now it's just 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. Just like that, Yuzupon will pick up a kill as well. The tomb coming out. The pain train to send it back home. He's like, Mom, I want to go home. I don't like it here. And he's sending it back to the fountain.
Oh man, watching Ray Farkey run away while shouting cowards. That's what we call it there. The tactical reposition with the pain train. And Echo, we might not actually get to see an actual 5v5 team fight in the raid we're going right now. DFM just refused to group up, and Ebby's split push right now with this Gnar is absolutely monstrous. I mean, this was a 2v1 and the Hullbreaker is just doing too much work. Ebby, you saw him as well come into lane without any rage bar, manages to charge it up. And the moment he goes mega, you don't win that fight. He buys so much time for the rest of his team to respond. In Burning Core, they're caught in fragments because of that attempt. And it's to their credit that they actually managed to find some kills at all in that particular trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a nice little move there to see that they were able to take out Steel there. I believe that the exhaust actually also got popped by Ray Farkey with that spell book, which allowed them to really nullify any damage he was going to do. But then you see it, right? Everyone gets caught out. Flawless just goes down. Everyone's just out for the count. They almost get Ray Farkey, but he hits him with the retreat is tactical, but death is not. It just gets out of there alive.
Yeah, and now, Baron is up here. We are at that 20-minute mark, and DFM are ahead enough that should they choose to team fight here, they can probably smash it. Yuhi sitting on the completed Mythic has not sold the call. And you look at Utapon, Utapon's got that 2.5 item power spike, a full completed item up on Burning Core, and Ebby as well. 2 items here with the teleport available. Can just look to split push. Burning Core, 2 members didn't work. They're sending 3, but I don't know if they can actually do this under a turret.
Yeah, no, because there's a big threat in that bot lane, and that's like the entirety of DFM pushing together with the Rift Herald as well. They've taken out that tier 2, looking to move on here to the tier 3. Burning Core is really just running out of time to find some kind of crazy play. We've seen them kind of try here and there, nothing really coming out of it. They're looking to just send out of the turret, perhaps the TP just come out, steal into the back line, takes out usually like it's nothing. Dice about to go down though incredibly low, will go down, 2 more will fall. Tier 3 goes down as well. They're looking to run down the rest of the members here. Ray Farkey, you're a tank, but it doesn't matter. You can't tank all this damage coming out from Evie. Gonna hit the ult, but not quite gonna be able to shove them away from the fountain. But they don't need to, because honestly, this is looking like a DFM.
Yeah, is this going to be the new record? I think the current record is 23.
I think 23 something. So this might just be indeed the new record, unless Ray Farkey and Flawless can do something here. It's not looking very hopeful though, and just like that, DFM win. These guys are unstoppable, and they will not take an L today.
DFM, they're trying to become the fastest team on the Rift, and You know what? Considering that the next game on the docket is V3 versus SoftBank Hawks here, I actually think Detonation FocusMe today will now have the shortest average game time. I am praying I'm proven wrong, but I really don't think I will be.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see. I think we throw it to a short break, and then we get back in here with Middlecott to kind of discuss what went down. Don't go anywhere.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Analyst Desk. Well, and everyone else, welcome back to the Analyst Desk. That was something, honestly. We had the fastest game of the split so far on Wednesday, with CGA taking down Burning Court. DFM, they sort of said anything you could do, I could do better, and dispatched the core in a blistering 22 minutes. Now, RMC, I want to come to you first, because whilst this was a pretty swift game, Burning Court, they had some ideas. I don't know if they were decent ideas, but they had a way that they wanted to play this game coming into it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's doing Burning Core a disservice, to continuously highlight their fastest game speed, because I think their fastest losses are coming for a reason, and it's because they're trying things out. And against DFM, against CGI, I won't talk about that, but against DFM, I do think it's the right way to play. You play high risk, high reward, because I already said you can't beat DFM by playing standard. And to their credit here, the draft wasn't anything too crazy, but the moment we got into game, they tried all sorts of strategies. And the thing with the high risk, high reward is that if it pans out, you have a chance of beating DFM. But when it doesn't pan out, things snowball incredibly quickly out of control. And that was what we saw. And even worse, it was compounded by the fact that Burning Core just would not give up. They played to win, disregarding the cost of a loss.
I mean, to a certain extent, RMC, as we see that the kitchen is well and truly on fire in the background there. To a certain extent, I do like it when teams are willing to stand up against DFM, willing to actually contest them at multiple points. And we saw glimpses of that. Echo KO, the late invade onto the blue from Burning Core to steal that away. Rayfaki doing his own blue, a whole bunch of shenanigans. And as interesting as the early game was, neither team really came out of it ahead until we started getting to the sort of 12-minute mark where DFM were making plays as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. It's what we're talking about, especially like on the cast, right? They had this huge kind of plan to like set up, just take away his entire bot side, right? Come out ahead, and then Steel decides to kind of move into that bot lane. We saw early on, especially because now I'm forgetting how RMC called it. Information. Well, dude, that was so big brain, but that's straight up what did you call it, man? I need to know the word again.
Information inequality, I think.
Information inequality. Oh my god, wow, that's chef's kiss right there, right? And that coming out, we saw Steel sends it into the bot lane. They grab first blood and they keep grabbing kills, and that kind of puts him back on the same standing with Flawless. And then it's like everything that they tried, especially in that early game, was just null and void because now you're kind of on the same level playing field. And it's really like RMC was saying, right? I feel like they understood the assignment, right? It's like, okay, let's make some plays happen. But they stuck to it too much. It's like they didn't try to kind of make like a lack of adaptability, so to speak. Because we see, for example, right, you've got the 3-man in the bot lane chasing down Evie while you're losing your mid and top turret. It's like, it's nice to see you trying to make a play happen, but you're not weighing the consequences.
I do like that you've highlighted Evie there, because I feel like the only times we ever talked about in this game is when Burning Core would try to bait players in, would try to be aggressive onto him, but he got a full turret plate, a full tower with the plates and everything solo at 13 and a half minutes. All the fighting and the action was happening on the bottom side RMC, but in the top lane, it's not like things were going brilliantly for Burning Core.
No, not at all. And part of that was draft. That was why I was shocked. Don't put Rayfaki on attack against Evie. Evie right now is looking like one of the best, if not the best top laner in the league. Nobody can quite match him here. And then you put Rayfaki at a disadvantage. We didn't talk too much about Ebby because the excitement was bot lane, but I do think Ebby was the key piece for DetonatioN FocusMe. Was the irresistible poisoned bait for Burning Core that they just kept going back to over and over and over again. And I almost feel like at this point, you've got to know, if Ebby is somewhere on the map, the important part of the map is on the other side. If Dragon is up, Ebby will be top side. If Baron is up, Ebby will be bot side. And just, he's not worth it. He doesn't, I don't think he even had a bounty for most of the game. He doesn't have an objective bounty either, and he doesn't give you a buff. So why on Runeterra's Rift would you even look at that Gnar? Just push him away and go fight somewhere else.
It's just, he's so tempting though. He's there like, shiggy, shiggy, shiggy. And like, honestly, like when I hear that, it's like the Teemo global taunt. I have to go towards that. I have to kill the source of that noise. But the thing that is honestly like even more perplexing for me is that Burning Core didn't play against DFM too long ago, right? And they had a similar sort of style. It was Rayfaki on a weak side tank. That time it was the Shen. This time it was the Scion. And a similar sort of thing ended up playing out in that game. So Ekoko, you were talking about that lack of adaptability in this game from Burning Core, but maybe they've tried to over-adapt, bring more of these draft resources towards Yuhi, when what was really working for them earlier on in the split is just getting Rayfaki on something that can deal damage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I feel like we also saw kind of like almost kind of like a rerun of like, I think that was day 7, because we saw once again Rayfaki getting bullied out of his mind once again. He wants to go home, bro. He's not having fun. And Evie was on that Trinimir last time, and he was proxy farming. He did not care, bro. He had no respect for anyone on the side of Burning Core, and we just saw that same kind of thing happen again. It's like Burning Core just kind of caught in a bad spot right now. It's like, you try to adapt, things don't work out. You try to play normally, things don't work out. So gonna have to see how they want to change things up, really.
At the end of it, it was just very, very clean from DFM, which is what we have grown to expect. And they 10-0 now, 9-0. I don't know. Yeah. They've got 0 losses, which is the most important thing, and they have been looking almost pretty much unstoppable this entire split. And I'm hearing some whispers around the LJLOU crew of a potential 21-0 split, but of course, we have got a long way to go until that, gentlemen. Coming up next, we have got a bit more of a Zornite battle. If this was a battle at the top of the table, the Piltover, Burning Core and DFM, SoftBank Hawks Gaming and V3 definitely a little bit down in the depths. But we will talk about that more after this short break. Do not go anywhere.